What is up, gold members? How about a quick and easy update video? We're going to look over a couple meme stocks, and then we're going to do SPY, crypto, and then just a couple perfect plays. Um, these perfect plays, and they're not limited to, take a walk through the Discord. We have plenty of tracking on all these different plays that are playing out right now. Let's dive right in. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Portal. All right, here we go. AMC. AMC's macro position is still in that 2020 flat portion. The only part that's in question is tri-peak. So zooming in on these different examples, I'm going to do an if this then that, as we always should. This is the seasonal cycle, or Jan theory. Jan theory just kind of shows every year you get these series of landmarks. The spring is the highest point, summer is consolidation, fall is your fall into S curve to then find the V. So each one of these, spring is the highest point, spring is the highest point, spring is the highest point, and spring is the highest point. We did get our spring as we were supposed to. To continue on with this, this is a very simplified version of the one-to-ones. Just to the month, you have an April bottom, May top, June peak, June peak. July and August are still currently playing out. So we're just kind of keeping an eye on these right now. If this continues tracking this way, this is the tri-peak alternative. You got your C, lower high, and then your tri-peak is what we would be currently playing out, confirmed with a lower high on the right side, and then a failure to hold the higher right side of W. It looks like this. Zooming in, there's your lower high point. This big red candle here would be your failure to hold. If it was to continue tracking through as a Jan, this is what it would look like. Your November and then a January break. This is how we're going to identify if it's holding or not. You can see each one of these micro iterations, the point of inflection is the higher right side. So for each one of these, as you find your bottom, you come up, and the pullback is where it would fail, just like what I just showed on this. That pullback, and instead of holding a higher low than the blue arrow here, it would continue to fall down. So here's the different examples of bearish breakdowns, where it breaks down like this, and bullish, holding the higher right side of W. Holding the higher right side of W. So that's what we're looking for out of that. If it was to continue bullish, it would still put us in that macro position of January 22nd, 2021. It is the following iteration, bullish iteration, following our lowest point. In this case, that would be April. So there's our first higher low, April, May. And then this would be confirmed as the second one. This was the equation date used as a intertrend to forecast a following peak, 712 to 715. You can see it pretty much nailed that point, and then trend changed following that to find right side of W. This is a before and after. So after we bottomed here at the 281, wanted to see a pull up to test 333. That's middle of W, and then a pullback for higher low to confirm bullish continuation. And so far, so good. We're just looking then to confirm then that $3 range. I mean, we have like, right where we're at, like 312, 303. The goal is just to stay above 285. I mean, you have to stay above. Otherwise, you're going to continue tracking for the tri-peak alternative. GME, we can do the same thing. GME has its Jan cycle. Each one of these, spring highest point, spring highest point, spring highest point. Spring was the highest point. Following spring, you do get this ascending pattern to then S curve and V, S curve and V, S curve and V, S curve and V. So with the alternative tracking that we had to find that $15 mark, this is what that would look like. Now, obviously, this is dated. We have all this pullback now to roughly $22. So that would put us in these ascending landmarks. They kind of like climb up and then break down, climb up and then break down, just to get to that $15 point. Now, there is something that keeps me bullish about GME, because it is kind of hard with the current tracking. It's getting really, really hard to try to place us in this uptrend coming off the other side. For myself, I'm looking at it as a difference in perspective. Fractal, when you are even completing, say, a 4-year cycle from 2021 to now, it's still just part of a bigger macro. And in this case, our biggest macro would be from IPO until current. It's the completed super macro that we're currently tracking. What are the landmarks for GME? You have your first hump, your lowest point is the middle, and then you have volatility, cup, break. So on a very macro perspective, instead of just tracking 2021 to now as this pattern, we can look at it as the whole completed macro. And that's what this is. You have your first hump, your lowest V, and then your volatility, cup, and break. So as long as this trend holds, just like it does or did in 2020, let me zoom in on it so you can see. Just like in this example, from your lowest point, you find support on your middle of V for this second part of GME's pattern, the volatility, cup, and break. In the middle of cup, you have another low V. So finding support on that low V and then holding support until breakout. So if that's the case, and this whole 4 or 5 years is just a second part of the super macro, we did find support at that lowest V, and we are currently sitting on support with our current price action. So as long as that holds, I'll continue tracking this bullish, and it will snap. It's not going to be a slow move. You'll get a breakout, and it'll be MOAS. So that's the two meme stocks. Moving on, I got SPY here. SPY, this was the original equation that I pulled in 2022. It was COVID low, 2022 high, forecasted us the following peak that started February 14th to April 28th. This is it completed. Obviously, it absolutely nailed the price action. So this is actually a little bit dated. Obviously, now we're climbing back out of here for all-time highs. This at that time was coming up to inflection point in April. You were either going to follow the pink bullish bars pattern, or you were going to confirm this 591 as lower high, and it was going to continue for the downside. We did track for bullish bars pattern. That put us into looking for that 630 or SPX 6300 price target. There are 2 points of the bullish bars pattern. When you place the bullish bars patterns at the higher low point, there's 2 parts that are the 2 parts that I pay attention to. Everything else in between is just kind of noise. So the 2 parts I look for is before you break all-time highs, your inflection point. That's the first one here on the pink bars pattern. It's just a descending broadening wedge. That's what SPY's pattern is. The second one that you pay attention to is the pullback after breaking all-time highs. So that's how you place this pink bars pattern. It looks great. It looks fantastic. Everything tracked through really good. Price target is still up there. This is the macro support and resistance for SPX. This goes all the way back to the 1920s, and each touch point is a bubble pop. So in this case, this was 1929. This one was 1999 to 2000, and then currently whatever the fuck this is. So there's that. Zooming in on just since 1999 2000 to current, if we just zoom in on that, this is the extended resistance line, and this is a new support line that you don't want to break. And this was to show that even if this broke out bullish for new all-time highs, there isn't a lot of room to the upside, but there is room. This shows that this showed the price target of 6,300 on SPX, and currently we did hit that 6,300, so we are there. Not a lot of room to the upside anymore. If it breaks out bullish, it breaks out bullish. If you want to see more macro stuff, the previous video I did cover a lot of that. Now, so to continue tracking, we know what the upside resistance is. That's what this red line is up top, right? Now we're going to look at the support levels, and that's where I started drawing Alamo. Alamo, depending on this second touch point, way down here, depending on where you place this Alamo line, is going to determine further down. It really, broadens out. Currently, we are at that support, the first one. The first one being the purple line here. It's not exactly touching the very, very, very bottom of this. So we can even come down a little bit more to retest all-time high, but we know from that pink bullish bars pattern that this should just put us into our top touch points. 63 for SPY, 630 to 638, but we are there. So looking to hold this purple line. If purple line fails, red line is the absolute Alamo of Alamos. You cannot draw. You cannot just keep adjusting this red line. This is the one. Um, this is looking at the two positions that I use for tracking as far as landmarks for SPY. This is Bubble Pop, 1999 to 2000. We got this would be comparable to 2022 peak, and then our pullback came back and retested that range to then go find blow off top. Same thing in the 1999 2000 tracking. You got that pullback. Now this is your blow off top. Once that's found, it's confirmed with a lower high off the right side. This is also known as second stage distribution. What follows that is volatility to the downside. This is using a spot that I've used a lot for the side by sides. It's another top pattern, 2022. And it's the same idea, is this would be the comparable 2022 pullback like this. You then come back and retest that range, came back, retested that range, and you are now tracking for blow off top, all-time highs confirmed with a lower high off the right side. That is your second stage distribution, and it would start the major pullbacks. So currently, that's all that we're looking for, is for this to peak out and then come back and then confirm with a lower high on the right side, and then that would start a bubble pop. Crypto, Bitcoin. I posted this whether you are tracking the red circle here or the yellow circle here further up. They're both fractal. They're both going to look exactly the same. It's the cup and handle, and that's what we're currently tracking for. You are outside of the macro cup and handle doing these micro kind of iterations on the uptrend. Equation dates were July 11th. So tracking into July 11th. Now this one shows that if you're using this higher point, instead of the first pullback back here, if you're using this higher point, this is what it looks like. It's just a cup and handle. You can zoom in on it. It is your cup and handle. A hold above 109.5 was the breakout of the handle, and then 115 plus it was the price target. This was showing, I showed this bars pattern in the last video. This is the uptrend of 2023. An uptrend is an uptrend. Remember, we're working with fractals here, so the landmarks are all going to be the same. At this point, we're looking for this double humped and then breakout bullish. This would complete that handle iteration. This is updated a couple weeks following that. This is your second hump. The pullback was confirmed and bullish price action was expected. This was your first breakout of the handle at 109.5. Looks like this. Here's that breakout looking to pass 109.5. All-time highs was 111. Price target again is 115 plus. This was following that, tracking into the July 11th equation date. And this is what followed the July 11th equation date. Looks fantastic. And actually, this is older, obviously. This is at 116. We're currently playing around the 120 range. This is the rainbow chart. I've showed this a bunch of times. I think it's excellent for showing the peaks of each cycle. And that, yes, price is going up, but as far as this log scaled, the peak is actually getting lower. So you can see this peak of 2014 was outside of the rainbow. The peak of 2018 was a little bit lower. And then, of course, our peaks in 2021, you're now in that yellow range. And so I'm expecting this peak to even be a little bit lower. We're going to be in the yellow to green range. So that's between still cheap and hold or hodl. This is zooming in on that. That price target for me is still 260. I think that this coming up jet test for Bitcoin should bring our new peak up to that range. So here's the macro perspective of it. Again, zooming in on this little area right here. That's what that looks like. You're still in a accumulation from buy to accumulation zone, and I wouldn't call this hold. I would say that this is the following peak. So that's Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Doge. Doge is a pretty cool one. Everything tracks really good. Now, this isn't just for Doge. You can do the same thing on XRP, on Solana, on any of the altcoins. They're all going to look very, very similar. You are holding higher lows off the other side of this. With Doge, this landmark and all of the landmarks, it's just a battle for the daily 618 moving average. That's this yellow moving average that runs through here. For this A iteration, after finding the low point, we come up and we're just battling in between here after our V, higher lows, and then a breakout and a breakout of this iteration for new jet test. It's exactly what we've been doing. Here's zooming in on that. Once you find your V point, I'm zooming in on just the A iteration here. Once you break out, or once you find your V point, come up, retest, higher low off the other side. That would be your breakout for bullish continuation. This is actually dated. This is still at 17 cents. We did break 20 and 22. We are just outside of this breakout now. Further tracking, if there is a following landmark, it's going to be this red oval up here, but it is new jet test. So anything is possible once you get that new jet test. Same thing, the equation date for this one was 7.4 to 7.8. This is using absolutes low and high. There it is highlighted, and you can see the price action that follows. I love our equation indicator. It's working fantastic. To keep up, hold on. To keep up with bullish price or crypto, now we're going to get into some of the perfect plays. Again, I don't want to, we don't even have enough time to really go through all of our gold plays. But these are a couple that we've had recently and have played out absolutely perfect. To keep up with crypto, this is MSTR. MSTR, macro position 2020, 2021 roughly. Looks fantastic. This was breaking out of the 45-degree down resistance line. Looked great. Found support on this blue 356. We can zoom in on that. Here's our support 356. Got a buy alert from our triangle trend indicator. And breaking above 404 and 426 is your continuation to the upside. This pattern is just cup and handles, cup and handles, cup and handles until you get a breakout of trend, and then you get continuation as it's shown on this macro. You do still have the rest of this jet test to play out. So that's MSTR. SoFi was incredible. This is way back. This was, well, when was this? This was around April, March to April. Wanted to find that support level at $10. Just broke below it slightly. And then come up, retest this yellow zone, and then break out for jet test. That's what we were looking for here. Obviously, we got it. Price target was $20. Looks incredible. SoFi is still a buy. And even this, so this is, I believe, from like last week. If you want more updated maps and stuff, you're gonna have to take a look in the Discord. I update them almost daily, if not daily, at least once a week. This was another one, Roblox. This was coming out of March earnings. Once we found the breakout and that earnings date, it never came back. Price target was 108. There it is. We hit it. Looks fantastic. This is AMD. AMD and all of our semis. I said this in the last video. They started getting more bullish after that February, like I showed on SPY. After our February downtrends on everything, they found support. They bounced bullish. They started to recover. Everything looks great. The breakout of this was anything above the daily 122. There's the breakout. This was at 143. I mentioned that 165 is the first price target, and it's going to come quick. Here we are now, 157. So, I mean, it's tracking fantastic. The breakout was perfect, and you do still have upside price targets. BBAI, I was keeping up with this one almost daily because I just wanted to see the break. We held 375, and I wanted to see a break of this 450. That would have confirmed the breakout of this megaphone pattern that it was doing. And then this is the before and after. So again, after we broke out of that 450, it was just a jet test to price target $7. Looks incredible. It was a fantastic play, thousands of percent on the contracts. Uh, Here's another one as far as our semis go. Nvidia. This is following, like I said, after that February pullback where all the blue chips and semis pulled back. Price target was around 88. We nailed it. And then we were looking for the change of trend off the other side to continue bullish to find that new peak. Here it is, just previous iterations for landmarks. Once you find that bottom, once you find that V, then you green box for the uptrend and breakout. Green box for the uptrend and breakout. There's the green box uptrend looking to break all-time highs, and we did. So again, perfect tracking on a lot of these, and these are not the only ones. Take a walk through gold plays. Some of them are still setting up. Some of them have already hit. Um, that's it. That's all I got. Market's about to open. Let's watch market open. Shout out to the gold members. And really quick, before we end the video, I am going to try to set up a loyalty program, a loyalty something, a couple things that I've really wanted to do over the past 2 years. And I know I just kind of keep talking about it. I want to do giveaways. I want to do coupons. I want to do discounts. I want to find a way to give back to you guys because you guys have been so loyal and supportive over this whole experience. And a lot of you guys I've watched the growth in a lot of gold members. Remember, we've been doing this now for over 2.5 years, almost 3 years now. So I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna find a way to do a gold loyalty program. Here's the thing. If meme stocks continue tracking towards the end of the year, I am planning on raising the price of gold because it is valuable. It is, I just showed a bunch of different stuff, and whether you take advantage of it or not, if you're here to learn something or maybe you're just here to support, either way, the price of gold is going to go up. Loyalty gold members, it's going to stay. It's going to stay exactly the same, or it's going to get discounted for the people who are gold and have been gold. Um, then anybody who wants to come back to gold after leaving the past couple weeks, price is going to be up. So just to let you guys know ahead of time, I'm going to post it in Discord. There's going to be plenty of stuff. I will have to change the payment system because Discord doesn't allow me to do discounts. It doesn't allow me to do coupons. I'm going to have to go through some third-party system. I'm going to make it as easy as possible. Trust me, I'm going to do the best that I can. So that's what I got for you guys. Thank you so much for keeping up with us, and let's watch this market open. I will see you guys in the Discord.